So I watched The Acolyte, and yeah, it was definitely made by a woman. That's for sure. That's for damn sure. Welcome back to Isaac of the Dead. I'm here with another video. I'm here to air my thoughts on the first two episodes of The Acolyte. They were really short episodes, like 30 minutes each. I mean, technically like 42 minutes, but that doesn't include credits and after credits and all the other bullshit, right? So basically, can I sum up the plot synopsis? Basically, it takes place, so as advertised, they said that it takes place 100 years before The Phantom Menace. Well, at the opening of this new show, The Acolyte, they explained that this actually takes place 100 years before the rise of the Empire. Well, if my calculations are correct, that would mean that it's only about 70 or so years before the Phantom Menace. So that's already inconsistency number one, just right off the bat, right? Like they open up with a little text crawl like Star Wars usually does. Not in the same way that it's not the crawl that goes up. It's just, text basically. But that's inconsistency number one. It's not 100 years before the Phantom Menace. It's actually 100 years before the fall or the rise of the Empire and the fall of the Republic, during the High Republic era. But it's still way shorter of a time than we anticipated. It's 70 years before Phantom Menace. That's way closer, and they still feel so far apart. It actually feels like it was made 200 years before Phantom Menace because the costumes are way different, the environment's way different, and that's kind of how they wanted to make it, but they still made it, they said in text that it was 100 years before the rise of the Empire. So maybe I'm misinterpreting something that they fucked up, but they still fucked it up. So then we go to, we introduce ourselves to victim number one, which is the assassin, the Acolyte assassin, basically, who's the titular character. The titular character, played by Amandla Stenberg, I believe, non-binary. And so she assassinates, or she attempts to assassinate a Jedi. Oh, spoiler warning, by the way. Spoiler warning. I'm going to spoil the hell out of this, as if you care, but, So she goes into a bar full of aliens and scum, right? And she attempts to assassinate a Jedi who's played by Carrie-Anne Moss. You remember Carrie-Anne Moss, right? From The Matrix. Yeah, you remember her. Well, they have a fight scene that was pretty embarrassing. So, so much for trying to one-up the Darth Maul fight from Phantom Menace, as they were trying to promise. It was pretty embarrassing to watch. But hey, Carrie-Anne Moss still got some moves for her age. Too bad she couldn't dodge baby knives. It's kind of funny that Assassin would try to assassinate a Jedi without blasters or a lightsaber. Instead, she used tiny little ninja blades, little baby knives. And all she did was swing one little baby knife at Carrie-Anne Moss, and boom, she's dead. This is a universe, Disney Star Wars is a universe where you can survive lightsaber wounds. Like, not just any lightsaber wounds, like lightsaber wounds through your sternum, through your organs, through your spine, and still come out clean and survive. But a little baby knife that's like a flesh wound in your chest can kill you. I mean, Carrie-Anne Moss's boobs probably blocked the blade before it got to her heart, but who am I to judge the genius of Leslie Headland or Dave Filoni? So basically, she dies. So much for hiring her. But I do have a theory that she's going to be back. I actually think that that was a fake out because, if you can survive lightsaber wounds in this galaxy, come on, bro. Like, you're going to survive little baby knives, okay? And she's also a woman, so there's no way they're just going to kill her, right? Hey, the Force is female. Get mad. So basically, my theory is that she's going to come back and she's going to end up being the Sith teacher that's trying to teach this Acolyte character, victim number one, who I believe is called May. I'm just going to call her victim number one. Then we meet victim number two, who is the twin, because they spoiled it in the trailers. They spoiled it. It was supposed to be a big reveal, and they're trying to pull some Force Awakens bullshit where, like, she had visions of her younger self and her past, but they use a lot of exposition dumps to try and explain her past and her origin story instead of, I don't know, showing us in flashbacks or having a more, I guess, mature way of showing us how it happened. I don't know. Maybe I'm nitpicking like all these people would say I am, or these detractors. But we meet her twin sister, Osha, whatever, Osha. I think, yeah, Osha, because the Jedi Temple needs Osha to come and clean up their bullshit. So, basically, the Jedi go out and investigate. The very flamboyant and homosexual Jedi go out to investigate the death of Carrie Ann Moss, and they come to the conclusion that, oh, well, Osha looks like the killer. So, and they didn't do any investigating on how she would have gotten from point A to point B if she had committed the murder. But we're not, the Jedi are not Jedi because they're good detectives, apparently, in the High Republic. So it's whatever, just nitpicking, right? So they take her in, and then they immediately find out that she's not the killer because the killer goes off and kills another Jedi. And it's like, oh, wow, okay. So not only, now the Jedi are so stupid. They're really stupid in the show because not only do they say that, oh, she looks like the killer, so therefore she must be the killer, even though we don't know the distance between the place that she committed a murder or where she was at when they found her and arrested her. There was no correlation between those two things. So I just assumed that their detective skills were shit. And their judgment skills are also pretty bad because after they've proven her innocent, it's like, okay, there's no way that she could be the killer because the killer committed another, murder again, and she was with the Jedi, so there's no way that she could have been in two places at once, so she's innocent. Well, now I want you to take her with you onto this, on this escapade to find the actual killer, which was a bad fucking idea. But we find out that victim number 2, Osha, was a former Jedi who left the Order for whatever reason. I don't know, victimhood, probably. I don't know, shit if I know. But she left, and she had a problem with it. And so we find out that the guy from Squid Game Jedi, his name is Master Soul because he's from Korea. I think that's why. We're going to call him Kia Soul. And there's also Master Venezuela. I think that's her name, Venezuela. It's probably wrong. That's probably wrong. Master Venezuela, who's obviously gay, probably bisexual, and probably trans as well. Bossing around Kia Soul because he's a man and he doesn't do good English. Poor guy. He's too good for this show. They try and go and investigate who did this, and we find out like Force Awakens style flashbacks of Osha's story. She gets captured and she's a prisoner. Here's a funny thing. When the Jedi capture her and they put her on a prison transport ship, the prison transport ship is run by droids. So the Jedi who believe a Jedi killer is dangerous put her on a ship with droids that she could easily manipulate to escape. Of course, she doesn't escape immediately because she's surrounded by evil white men who end up, breaking out and escaping anyway. But they get caught immediately off screen, so it doesn't even really matter. But most of them were pretty racist because, white man bad. But she ends up breaking her own little baby droid's neck just to get out of the cell. And she ends up crashing the ship anyway because they were in an asteroid field or something. And when she crashed the ship, there's no way she could have survived. And they even pointed that out. One of the flamboyant Jedi who farted in her bed or something showed up to the crash site and was like, yeah, there's no way she could survive. It's like, okay, where's her body then? The worst crime of this is that it's the complete assassination of the Jedi as just a concept. All the Jedi look like bananas and they're all really stupid. Whenever it comes to writing, like your characters are only as smart as their writer, and most of the characters are really dumb. And so they come to conclusions that don't make any sense, and most of the setups are for payoffs that are very predictable. Is it full of identity politics? I mean, that depends on your point of view. Sure, it probably is. Most likely. Like I said, white man bad. That's an obvious choice by Force's female people. But in terms of storytelling, it's just so lame and boring that there's not much going on to even incite something so vile as to be like woke or have identity politics. So I would love to sit here and say, oh guys, it's woke, don't watch it. Honestly, if you watched it, you'd just be bored. You wouldn't even be insulted, you'd just be bored. Because that's what I was doing. I was watching it with my little brother, and we were both bored to shit. We were just like, all right, that's stupid. This whole thing is stupid, but hey, that's what it is. Now, I have no emotion for Star Wars anymore. This is very Disney Star Wars. And if there's any compliments I'll give it, it definitely has the vibe and look of a High Republic novel, which is a backhanded compliment from me. because the High Republic is a stupid era and it looks gay. But hey, you know, they're very proud of that. So even when I say it's gay, they're going to get mad, even though, you know, they sit there and they use it as a virtue. Whatever. Yeah, I cannot like it. I pretty much don't like it. It's mid. Like, at best, it's mid and boring. At worst, it's cringe. So, I don't know what to tell you. I thought this would be a way bigger disaster than it was, but it's just so mid that I don't give a shit, really. But hey, that's just episode 1. You know, I'm not gonna get my hopes up too soon. There's plenty more episodes to go, and there's plenty of time to, you know, get to that identity politics. But hey, that is my review for episode 1. Get ready for episode 2 very soon.